The next, the no cursing policies, not mandatory. It's elective. That policy.
It's elective. Well, Dutch is a Christian athlete, and Dutch is a Christian athlete.
It is elective, but it's called respect. I mean, you can cuss, but
but you're saying I'm disrespecting you when I do that.
No, not me.
The show itself.
Yes.
The concept.
All right, I'll show some respect to the show.
Well, I mean, I wish you hadn't said that, Dutch, because this has a lot of swearing in this next.
Better clean it up.
Ric Flair calls Vince McMahon his hero.
Son of a that bastard. That son of a. Go ahead.
So this from Cultaholic.
Wait a minute. Ask Kenny. Kenny, have you heard this yet about Ric Flair talking about Vince?
No.
Okay, listen to it.
You'll like this.
Okay, let's hear this.
From Cultaholic, speaking recently to Joe Rogan, Ric Flair expressed that Vince McMahon is his hero, following an apparent sympathetic stance towards McMahon from Rogan regarding the allegations made against him. Rogan stated when he was getting involved in scandals and there was, like, girls that he had paid off, I just wanted to say, duh, you've got an 80-year-old savage that's built like a fucking gladiator. You think Vince McMahon is doing that just for fucking hee-hees and haw-haws? No, of course, he's got some floozies on the side. Flair replied, he's my hero, before elaborating, I judge people by how they treat me, and he is treating me like. I've never had anyone treat me with more respect ever in this business. He's a great guy. I don't care what he does. He's my hero.
Oh, that is not your political answer these days. Oh my God. Well, the Nature Boy has been accused of many of the things that Vince McMahon has been accused of. Am I not correct on that?
Oh yeah, totally.
I have also heard people that claim they didn't know Vince was doing this. Some old close friends of mine, very close friends that I'd known for about 45 years, they claim they didn't know shit about it, even though those people had told me about those things back in the 80s. I guess old timers set in, not all timers, old timers set in, and they forgot all the things they told me that Vince used to be involved in back in the day. I guess when birds of a feather flock together, we'll use the word flock. When birds of a feather flock together, yeah, they're going to defend each other. So that's my opinion.
Well, Ric Flair's endorsement means shit to me because.
Well, there you go.
Vince has loaned the guy a couple $1 million. Well, yeah, he is. He should be a hero to Rick because he saved his butt not once, twice, probably more than that.
Let me quote something that Jim Cornette once said to me: "Loan, fuck, you pay a loan back." So is that how that fell?
Hey, that's a good
line. I'll give it, dude.
That is a great line. I'll give
loan hell, you pay a loan back.
But
I would say the $2 million never came out of Ric Flair's pocket back to Vince McMahon, right? I'm just guessing.
Well, oh yeah, I have a good friend. Flair owes him. Now this is a guy who's not extremely rich, but he's got.
Now, may I call bullshit on you when you claim you have a good friend? But continue, just for the sake of the story.
You see how he is, James. See, that's why James didn't want you on the show because of your damn.
I noticed I hadn't been on since my last appearance, which had been a long dry spell, and you told me that Romero here had a lot to do with that.
He hates you.
Everything,
but he just wants.
But you overruled him and got me back on regardless. I appreciate that.
I did. I really pushed for it. No, I got a friend. I can't remember his name now, but he's a good friend.
But, told you didn't have one. I told you. You even know his name?
I don't even know his last name. I've been hit on the head a couple 100,000 times.
Carrie Silkin.
This is the greatest story I've ever heard. I got a friend. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name.
I don't remember what he looks like.
But I remember that. I can see the face. I can see everything.
Picture him plain as day. Well,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he says Flair owes him $41,000.
Okay.
He paid him in advance to make these appearances for Ring of Honor.
Oh, I think that is Carrie Silkin. Yeah. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
And he says, and he admits, hey, it's my fault. I didn't get anything on paper. So, but I wish he'd pay me.
Absolute stupidity to be involved in financial deals with Rick and not get it on paper.
Yeah. Rick never paid him back.
Nope.
And guess what? He's not going to pay him back. But anyway.
No, not a dollar of it. He will not get a dollar.
Ric Flair calling Vince McMahon his hero speaks for itself.
It does speak for itself.
Words can't do it justice.
Well, I know we don't talk politics on this show, but I judge people by the people they hang with and the people they worship and the people they adore. And when you adore people of that ilk, that tells me you either are part of that ilk or you support that ilk, and I got a problem with you either way. So just in a nutshell.
With Joe Rogan, do you think
Dutch and I like good people,
Yeah.
regardless of how we act on this show?
That type of ilk.
With Joe, I mean, he's been accused more than once of only knowing half the story here. Do you think he just doesn't know sort of the nature of because he knows there's non-disclosure agreements happening, but I mean, is he just overlooking this entire thing, or do you think he only thinks that like he was doing the dirty on his wife and doesn't realize that quite a lot of these non-disclosure agreements relate to criminal acts, allegedly?
Yeah. And now, why did Sable sue Vince for $1 million and then he hires her back before the lawsuit is complete? Does anybody know the story on that? Sable sued him for $1 million, but I forgot the reason why.
No, not $1 million, 110 million or something like that. It was
oh,
nine,
my
it was
bad.
nine
I underestimated her lawsuit. $100 million.
Yeah, didn't someone shit in a bag, and that ended up being harassment? I think it might have been another Waltman special.
I heard that a former member of the Midnight Express shit in a crown. I haven't heard about the bag dump.
Oh my God.
That kind of narrows down that Midnight Express story, don't it?
And we wonder why they're not in the Hall of Fame.
I told you, did I tell you what I wanted to happen for the Hall of Fame? Because I wanted the Midnight Express to be inducted. And then I wanted the big surprise to be, and their world famous, infamous manager, and then bring out Paul Heyman, being as he is the first one to ever manage the Midnight Express. That's what I wanted.
Well, that would make news. And
That would? It would have.
I could have heard Cornette screaming.
Oh, you would have.
All the way to Florida without a phone.
Yeah, that would have been the shits. So for my own personal reasons, that would have been a hoot. But Paul did manage the Midnight Express first, for whatever that's worth. Normally, the guy that does it first should probably get the most credit. But then again, who did it better? Well, I guess you'd have to hand that to Cornette, right?
Cornette did it better.
Yeah, he did it better. I'll give you that.
We have,
but one person has said a shitload of negative shit about the WWE, and the other person is still there working and doing a fine job with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. So what do you do?
You ever met Vince McMahon? How many times did you meet Vince McMahon? I know you met him.
About 3 or 4 times. About 3 or 4.
Is he your hero like he is Ric Flair's?
I'll tell you what, because Flair said he's always been good to me. I can say that Vince McMahon has always been good to me and my son. He invited my son to sit down and have dinner with him at catering when we had Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin take on Rico and John Cena for the tag titles. We were the dark match before Raw. The match that was going to open Raw was not ready to go. They loved it in Gorilla. They said, can you all go out and do that again and change the finish? Jimmy said, yes, they can. Get ready. The match is the Raw match not ready to go. We're going to act like we're going to join it in progress. Just change the goddamn finish. So we're ready to go. And Vince was very complimentary that night. When Jimmy introduced me to Vince, Jimmy had told apparently 1,000 stories about, well, me and Kenny did this, me and Kenny did that. We used to watch wrestling up on the roof with the black and white TV. We love wrestling. We know wrestling and all that. So Vince was apparently of the thought that I was a figment of Jimmy's imagination. So Vince had been hearing stories about me for years, apparently. So Jimmy takes me backstage at the Freedom Hall show that we're going to do the dark main event. And he says, Vince, my friend Kenny Bolin. Well, I'll be goddamn. You actually exist. I said, yeah, we've heard about you 1,000 times on road trips, and we just thought you were a figment of Cornette's imagination. Put her there, pal. And I said, well, thank you, Mr. McMahon, because Coffee was standing right by him. So I'm doing my Coffee impersonation of Mr. McMahon the way Coffee would do it. He says, oh, my God, not another one, because he thought that I was taking Coffee's thing and applying it to him. So he was nice, but it doesn't erase the shit that so many people said they've done. And not to get political, but when 43 people accuse you of sexual assault, when one person is currently in a rape trial with you right now, 12 others are waiting to go to trial with sexual assault, 43 accusations. You wouldn't speak to your brother, father, uncle, or sister if they'd been accused of that. But yet we have politicians that we ignore it when they're accused of that. But if my Uncle Billy was accused twice of sexual assault, we would ban him from the family, never speak to him again. But our favorite politician does it, and we ignore it. Some of us.